Unbelievable what he did to her. Stop everything you're doing to watch the moving story of this couple. You have no idea, you'll be surprised by the ending. Something extraordinary happened. Unfortunately, she made the wrong choice. In a small village called Afia, where time seemed to have stopped, lived a woman of unmatched beauty and kindness named Salima. Salima was known to everyone in Afia. Her beauty was so striking that it attracted the admiring gazes of many men from the village and neighboring regions. Many men came to ask for her hand in marriage, offering gifts and sweet words. But despite the numerous proposals, Salima categorically refused all advances. The reason for Salima's refusals was simple yet profound. She feared making a mistake, feared ending up married to the wrong man. The fear of being mistreated by someone she would call her husband made her reject those who did not seem worthy to her. How many times in life are we paralyzed by fear? In a society where marriage was often a matter of convenience and status, Salima dared to hope for something more. She hoped for true love, for a partner who would respect her essence and value her heart. You, who are following this story, are you also like Salima, waiting to live a true love? Salima continued her life with dignity and grace, dedicating herself to helping others and living according to her own principles. Her story wasn't just about searching for a partner but about the courage to wait for what really matters. Her mother, impatient with Salima's prolonged singlehood, began pressuring her to accept one of the many suitors who came from near and far. But Salima, firm in her decision, refused them all. She believed she hadn't yet found the man she wanted to share her life with. While her friends and acquaintances were already married with children, Salima remained single. For many villagers, this was unacceptable. Some even called her evil spirit, trying to explain her refusal to marry. But Salima, with her grace and inner strength, didn't let the criticism affect her. She continued to live with dignity, helping those in need, and keeping her faith in a better future. One day, while heading to the market, Salima was bitten by a venomous snake on her left ankle. The pain was unbearable, and her screams echoed through the air, but no one heard her. Fortunately, Musa, a handsome man with a kind heart, was passing by. Without hesitation, he ran to Salima. Upon learning of the bite, Musa didn't waste time. He carried her in his arms and quickly took her to the village herbalist. The herbalist treated Salima with medicinal herbs. She fell asleep during the treatment, and when she woke up, she found Musa by her side, concerned and attentive. Recovering her strength, Salima thanked Musa for saving her life. In his eyes, she saw something she had never seen before, the promise of true love. Musa, in turn, also fell in love with Salima. It was love at first sight. Musa loved Salima so much that he couldn't imagine life without her. With a heart full of hope, he asked for Salima's hand in marriage. And to his joy, Salima accepted without hesitation. The wedding was a success, an event that united the village in joy and celebration. Salima was radiant, happy to finally be with the man she loved. After the ceremony, Salima moved into Musa's house. The two started living as husband and wife, enjoying a peace that seemed unbreakable. But this peace was shaken the day Musa's mother, Fatima, arrived uninvited. Known for her troublesome and arrogant behavior, Fatima was feared by many in the village. Fatima was a woman of great influence, known for her powers and her involvement in black magic. Her presence brought a palpable tension to Salima and Musa's home. From the moment she arrived, Fatima did not hide her displeasure. She constantly criticized Salima, testing the patience and love of the young couple. Despite the difficulties, Salima and Musa remained united. Their love was a flame that resisted the storms, and Salima, with her usual grace, tried to handle the situation as best as she could. But Fatima's presence was more than a test of patience. She was a practitioner of black magic, and her secret rituals began to cast shadows over the lives of Salima and Musa. In the middle of all this turbulence, Salima and Musa knew that their love was the only force that could protect them. United, they were ready to face any challenge, even the darkest ones. Because sometimes, the true test of love is not just finding each other, but staying together in the face of the darkest adversities. When Salima's mother-in-law, Fatima, came to their house, Salima welcomed her with all the affection. She served the best food she could prepare, trying to please the woman known for her troublesome behavior. However, Fatima had other plans. As soon as Musa came home, she started complaining. She said the food was tasteless and without meat, and that Salima had added water to the meal to save. Musa, knowing his mother's true nature, didn't pay much attention to the complaints. But that didn't stop Fatima. Gradually, Fatima started making Salima's marital life unbearable. She criticized every small mistake, found faults in everything Salima did. Salima, with her gentle nature, did everything to please her mother-in-law. She washed all her clothes, cooked 6 different types of meals every day, and cleaned the house tirelessly. But nothing seemed to satisfy Fatima. Despite all Salima's efforts, Fatima was never satisfied. Her constant criticism and cruelty turned Salima into a servant in her own house. Without rest and moments of peace, Salima struggled to maintain her dignity and hope. Salima endured everything with admirable strength, her heart remaining pure despite the adversities. She knew that just as the river flows constantly, her resilience would guide her through the difficulties. Because sometimes, the true magic lies in inner strength and the ability to stay firm, even when everything around seems to be falling apart. Every morning, as soon as Musa left for work, Fatima assumed her true role. She ordered Salima to do endless tasks, treating her like a servant. Salima endured everything in silence, determined to keep peace in her home. However, the weight of despair grew in her heart. Finally, in a moment of vulnerability, Salima confided in her husband about the suffering his mother was imposing on her. Musa was deeply upset and unhappy to hear Salima's words. He decided to confront his mother, demanding that she leave his wife alone and stop treating her like a servant. However, Fatima felt betrayed and furious with Salima for exposing her actions. Determined to take revenge, she vowed to make Salima pay dearly. That very night, Fatima used her dark powers. She cast a spell on Musa, making him insensitive to her wrongdoings. From that moment on, no matter how his mother treated Salima, Musa would never react. With Musa under her control, Fatima intensified her mistreatment of Salima. Now, without her husband's support, Salima became a full-time servant, suffering even more under Fatima's watchful eye. Salima, however, did not know that her husband was under the influence of a spell. She couldn't understand why Musa, who once loved her so much, now seemed indifferent to her suffering. Desperate and without options, Salima returned to the place where she always found solace, the riverside. She prayed to the river goddess, pleading for strength and a solution to her suffering. It was then that the river goddess appeared, hearing Salima's cry. With a compassionate heart, the goddess decided to intervene. The goddess granted Solomon a new power, a renewed strength to face the darkness surrounding her. With this new hope, Solomon was determined to fight for her peace and Musa's true liberation. Because when light is united with courage, even the deepest shadows cannot resist. Solomon's journey was just beginning, and her determined heart promised to overcome any adversity. The torment of Solomon by her mother-in-law, Fatima, continued incessantly for months. Each day seemed like a test of endurance, but hope always shone in her heart. One day, Solomon discovered she was pregnant with her first child. The news brought indescribable joy, a renewed hope. She finally had something to fight for, something that gave her strength to carry on. Solomon announced the good news to her husband, begging him never to let his mother Fatima know. She knew that her mother-in-law could turn this blessing into another nightmare. The days passed, and Fatima's torture continued. As the weeks went by, Solomon began to weaken, her body suffering not just from the effort but also from the constant tension. Determined to protect herself and her baby, Solomon decided to leave her marital home. She told Musa that she would travel to her family's house and stay there until she gave birth. What Solomon and Musa didn't know was that Fatima was listening to their conversation behind the door. Upon discovering Solomon's pregnancy, Fatima began to conspire to prevent her departure. On the day Solomon was supposed to leave, Fatima sneaked into her room and added something to Solomon's food, a substance that would ensure she couldn't leave the house. After eating, Solomon started to feel dizzy and weak. Her plans to leave were thwarted, her body betrayed by sudden weakness. Fatima, satisfied with her plan, watched from a distance, convinced that she had total control over Solomon and her future. With a weak body and troubled mind, Solomon sought strength in her faith. Whispering prayers to the river goddess, she pleaded for help, for a way to protect her child and regain her freedom. And it was in that moment of despair that the river goddess responded. A magical light flooded Solomon's mind, promising her strength and a way out. Solomon's battle was far from over, but with divine help, she found new hope to continue fighting. Because when a mother fights for her child, her love and courage can overcome even the deepest darkness. Solomon was ready to face whatever came, with hope shining in her heart like an inextinguishable light. When Solomon woke up, it was already late at night. The weakness she felt confirmed her suspicions, something had been put in her food. Anger grew inside her, fueled by the instinct to protect her unborn child. Determined not to give in to fear, Solomon confronted Fatima. The courage in her voice surprised her mother-in-law, who never imagined Solomon had the strength to stand up to her. Fatima, in a fit of rage, vowed revenge. Determined to break Solomon, she used her powers to cast a second spell on Musa. This time, the spell would ensure he blindly obeyed any order from his mother. Under Fatima's control, Musa was ordered to stop caring for his wife and giving her money for food. Fatima wanted to see Solomon weaken and die of hunger. Solomon, now abandoned by her husband, had to fight alone to survive and care for her unborn child. Without support, she started doing manual labor for the villagers, earning small amounts of money. Every day was a battle, but Solomon refused to give up. With the little money she earned, she bought food for herself and her baby, struggling to keep both alive and healthy. Even in the face of adversity, Solomon found joy in small victories. Every coin earned, every meal prepared, was another step in her fight for a better future for herself and her child. With unshakable inner strength, Solomon vowed to protect her child at any cost. Solomon Sabi said the struggle go dey hard, but hope they shine for her heart, they guide her every step. Because when Mama dey fight for her pikin, no darkness fit quench the light of hope. Salima ready to face any challenge, with the courage of a mama and the strength of a warrior. After Salima go take refuge for her mama house, the situation come dey more challenging. The bell wey suppose be time of joy and expectation turned to painful trial. Salima, now under the loving care of her mama, they face not just the physical challenge of complicated pregnancy, but also the emotional weight of her ex-mother-in-law, Fatima's wickedness. Months don't pass, and Salima Bell no show any signs say the pikin go come out. She dey pray well, they beg God for safe and healthy delivery, but the days they drag without any hope in sight. The shadow of Fatima dey over her, they mock her condition and throw cruel insults, they blame her for challenging her plans. Meanwhile, Musa, Salima's husband, they under the spell where him own mama cast on him. Under the spell, he no fit see beyond Fatima manipulation and he don't believe say Salima dey responsible for all the bad things wey dey happen to their family. Completely controlled, he allow Fatima bring another woman come their house, a woman wey she hope fit drive Salima away finally. But Salima no gree. With the strength wey only mamas get, she dey face each day with determination, dey take care of herself and her unborn pikin. Her mama, seeing her daughter suffer, no measure efforts to give support and protection. Together, mama and daughter find strength in each other, create a sanctuary of love and hope within the safe limits of their home. Meanwhile, Fatima, frustrated say she never makes Salima suffer enough, cast one last and terrible spell. This spell suppose stop Salima's pregnancy, to deny her the miracle of giving birth. With each passing moment, the pressure on Salima increase, as Fatima's magical shadows stretch over her and her uncertain future. Salima dey cry in silence at night, her tears mix with the silent prayers where she dey send to heaven. Her faith be her only anchor in the midst of this storm of adversities wey don't pile up on her. And yet, deep inside, she knows say one bright light dey beyond the dark clouds wey surround her. Finally, after months of anguish and struggle, Salima gets one transformational encounter with her destiny. The guidance of her mama lead her to the Afia River, where the sacred waters wash not just her body, but also her soul. There, she finds the strength to undo the spell where they threaten her pregnancy and her life. 3 days after the sacred bath, Salima begin feel the first contractions. Each moment of pain now one step towards liberation, and Salima faced the labor with courage and renewed faith. That day not the climax of her tough and emotional journey, where Salima perseverance and her mama unconditional love win over the darkness where Fatima cast. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars and with the soft whisper of the Afia River as witness, Salima born healthy pikin. Her eyes shine with tears of joy as she hold her baby for the first time. It be moment of rebirth not just for her, but for her whole family. Salima's story dey remind us say even for the darkest situations, hope and love fit blossom. She find her inner strength when she need am most, face challenges wey look impossible and come out not just as survivor, but as woman wey don strong because of adversity. And as she look forward, holding her pikin for her arms, Salima knows say each battle not proof of her ability to endure and her determination to never give up. Salima don face the hardest challenge of her life. Driven out from her marital home by her wicked mother-in-law, even while she dey pregnant, she returned to her mama house for refuge and care. Her mama, hearing the trials of her daughter, feel a mix of sadness and anger. She welcomed Salima with unconditional love, determined to protect her daughter at any cost. For the 18th month of her pregnancy, Salima falls sick seriously. The herbalist diagnosed say one spell day on her pregnancy, one bad thing wey fit kill her before she born. With heavy heart, her mama hear the only possible solution, one bath for the Afia river, where the spell cast by the goddess fit be undone. After 3 days of ritualistic bath, Salima begin feel new strength inside her. On the 4th day, the labor pains finally start. The Afia river done restore her faith and her strength. With courage and endurance, Salima born healthy boy, fill her heart with happiness and gratitude. Meanwhile, for Musa house, the woman wey Fatima choose for her son show herself more than she expect. Daughter of one powerful priest with magical powers, Julie no let fear catch her. After her first plan fail, Fatima decide to use poison. While Julie dey sleep, she enter kitchen with her pot of soup, determined to eliminate the rival once and for all. Night fall over the village of Afia, and the destiny of Salima and Julie seem entangled by challenges and dangers. While one day celebrate the miracle of life, the other day face battle against an unforgiving enemy. Because for world where good and evil they mix, courage and determination are the weapons of a mother and the wisdom of a woman. With Fatima's death, one dark chapter finally closed for the life of Salima and Musa. Julie, the woman wey reveal her true identity and face Fatima's wickedness, don't live without trace, leaving behind a trail of justice and liberation. Musa, now free from this spell wey blind him to the truth about Salima, seek his wife with heavy and regretful heart. When he reach her mama house, he find Salima, wey don born during the time he dey absent. She dey hold their pikin for her arms, living witness of the strength and resilience wey characterize her journey. Kneeling before Salima, Musa begged for forgiveness, revealing how he had been deceived by his mother's lies, who had tried to portray Salima as a villain in his eyes. With understanding and compassion, Salima forgave her husband, recognizing that he too had been a victim of his mother's manipulations. Together, Salima, Musa, and their son returned to the house where they had faced so many trials. Although mourning the loss of his mother still weighed heavily on her heart, Salima found solace in her husband's renewed love and the promise of a bright future for their family. The lesson Salima carried with her was profound and powerful: never inflict harm on others, for the consequences inevitably return. Her journey had been a living testament to how kindness, courage, and perseverance can triumph over the darkest adversity. As the sun set over Salima and Musa's home, they knew they had emerged not only as survivors but as a family united by trial and strengthened by love. Life continued, but now they faced the future with renewed hope and a deep understanding of the value of kindness and compassion in the face of adversity.